Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan, Google Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. This is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan. We got some good stuff today. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I still make up the podcast, right? That's what matters. I'm going to cover a lot of Ben Simmons today, and Scottie Pippen had some interesting remarks to say about Kevin Durant. So that's really going to dominate my show today. Tomorrow I will cover what happened this week, alright? That I'll cover this week, alright? But first I'm going to start off with a question. Who wants out more, Simmons or the Sixers? I think it would be best for both of them, honestly, if Simmons were to just leave, honestly. Like, I don't know if anyone wants out more than the other. I think it would be best for both, because Simmons isn't good for them, you know? And they're not good for Simmons. Because Simmons is going to have to, he like I said yesterday, he has a Draymond Green-like quality. He has to be with, like, two other stars at least to look good. You know, when Draymond Green has Steph and Clay, he's really good. But when he doesn't, you know that he's not that good of a player. Alright. Now, I mean, on the Sixers side, you know, obviously Simmons is not good for them. You know, they're going to have a true point guard. You know, right now they have a guy who's supposed to play power forward at point guard right now. That's not good. So I think it'd be best for both of them if Simmons were to just, for them to just trade Simmons. I think it would be best for both sides. Alright. Now, would you have taken the Pacers job if you were Rick Carlisle? Because like I said, it's a good hire by the Pacers, but do you think Rick Carlisle would have done it? Because the Pacers have fired him before. But I don't know why you would go to a team that fired you before, because are you sure this will get you to the championship? You know? Like, you fire the... I mean, I'm sure Rick Carlisle was like, hey, I liked it here with the Pacers, but, you know, the Pacers, you fired the guy before for a reason. But I don't know, maybe they're changing their minds, like, maybe the players like him, you know, I don't know, but, I don't know, if I were Rick Carlisle, I would have taken the Pacers job, you know, I'm sure he liked it there, but, you know, if I were the Pacers, I don't know if I would have hired him, because we fired him before already for a reason. Alright. So, would I rather have KD or Pippen's career? Now, I'm going to explain this. Pippen said some things in an interview, and he was talking about how KD doesn't make teams better like LeBron. And he also went on to talk about how when Jordan was gone and Phil Jackson decided to let, Steve Kerr or John Paxson take the shot instead of him. And he threw race in there. You know, that's the big part about this is he threw race in there. You know, but, no, he's right. KD is not LeBron. And I don't consider him a better leader than LeBron at all, or a better player in any sense. He's more talented, but he ain't better. Because LeBron is a better leader, better passer, better rebounder. You know, in his prime, he was a better defensive player than KD. I mean, lately, obviously, not even close, but in his prime, he was better than KD. At, you know, defense. So LeBron's a better overall player and a better leader, so I don't put KD in LeBron's category, really. But, you know, yeah, so I'm going to cover a lot of that today with Pippen and KD, you know, that's... And the fact that he threw race into that conversation, like, that's just not smart to do at this time. Alright. Here's a better question than KD or Scotty. How about Barkley or Horry? Like, I do a lot of these, like, this guy's career or this guy's, you know? I think a very good question is Barkley or Robert Horry. I'm going to go Robert Horry, because I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I think he is. He did win 7 rings. And, I do oftentimes defend LeBron. I only defend LeBron, I'm a LeBron fan. So I often defend LeBron. But that doesn't mean I legit think he's the GOAT. I used to, but, I'm a smarter person now, but, I don't like to get into arguments with LeBron and the GOAT debate, I don't like that, because it's never going to end the way you want it to end. So I just don't do that. But, the one thing I do defend LeBron on is when people just throw out 6 rings without any context. It's just, 6-4. Okay, but how many rings does Robert Horry have? That's a better argument. Are you going to take Robert Horry over MJ? No, you're not. No, you're not. And I once heard someone say that they would take Horry over MJ. But that's just clearly a save face. But, yeah, there is absolutely no way you would take Horry over MJ. It's common sense. So, the ring debate is definitely something I really, really push back on. But, I do have respect for him. He did hit, shots in big moments, when he had to. And he did win 7 rings, so he's gonna get Hall of Fame votes, and he won a lot of championships. So I think I absolutely take his career over Barkley's, because yes, Barkley gets all those votes, all those Hall of Fame votes. He's going to be in the... Is he in the Hall of Fame already? I think he's in the Hall of Fame already. But, obviously you're a Hall of Famer, but did he win any rings? No. Meanwhile, Robert Horry is going to be... if he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, he'll get votes. So I can get Hall of Fame votes in 7 rings. I would take that over a for sure Hall of Fame appearance and, no rings. Alright, so obviously, we know Kevin Durant. He's not just going to let Scottie talk about him that way and just, leave him hanging. He's going to say something. But, now, do I think he should have responded to this? No, not at all. I don't think he should have responded to this at all. But, he shouldn't respond to this, because it will make things worse. But, Scottie Pippen, when he said that, he knew what KD is like. And, he knows if he says this, then KD's gonna react. And I'm saying this about the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. You know how Aaron is, and you still refuse to tell him about drafting Jordan Love. That's a stupid move. Aaron can be difficult, and he likes to know things, yet you refuse to tell him that you're going to draft a replacement. Now, I know a lot of people are throwing it out there, they don't have to tell him, he's an employee, but my argument is they know how Aaron Rodgers is. They know how he's going to react, and they still do that. Same thing with firing his quarterback coach. That's stupid. You know how Aaron's going to react to that. He's not going to be happy. Well, and why would he? There's no reason to, wanna... why would he be happy with them firing his quarterback coach without telling him? But, that's just stupid. Alright. I really think this, Scottie Pippen has gotten a lot more disagreeable since the documentary came out. Michael did a big disservice to him. He really did. They did not make him look good on that documentary. it didn't. It's not like. Honestly, I think it might be. It's obviously a shot at Scotty's ego, and I don't think that's the only shot at Scotty's ego. I think also the fact that no one defended Scotty, like no one really cared much, also kind of hurt his ego. Like no one defended him at all. The only time they defended him was when they were talking about how he was one of the lowest paid guys. But other than that, no defense for him. I think that was another disservice to him. Like, he didn't like that. But, it was a big disservice to him there. And I wouldn't honestly say that KD is necessarily selfish. He's never led the league in field goal attempts. And I'm just obviously, talking about Scotty's point about KD, I wouldn't necessarily call him selfish. Because that's part of his point. Like, LeBron makes teammates better. KD doesn't. Honestly, if you're the second best player of your generation, it's not a bad thing. KD is the second best player of his generation. Do you know how many basketball players have played in the last 10 years? KD is the second best player of all those guys. It's not a bad thing if you're not as good as LeBron. Like, it's not an insult to say he's not better than LeBron. That's not an insult at all. Because he's better than everyone else. He's better than everyone else. Alright. So, you know what? I'm gonna react to the fact that the Suns are up 3-1. They have the Clippers in a hole here. They won 84-80. PG did play well. He did unfortunately foul out after 41 minutes to play. Despite the fact that he did have 23 points and 16 boards, he had a terrible shooting night. 1 for 9 from 3, 5 for 20 from the field. You can't really do that in the NBA as a leader. But I'm going to give Paul George credit here. He has done a better job than I expected. I expected him to fold again this year, like he did last year, but he's done a good job. Other than last night, he's done a good job. And Reggie Jackson stepped up again. He didn't exactly shoot well, but he scored a lot of points. Zubac did the same thing he did the other night. It's just the Suns were better. They shot better. That was the difference. The difference was the shooting. CP3 had 18 points and 7 boards. Booker also fouled out after 38 minutes, but he had 25 points. It wasn't a very good shooting night for either team, That's why it was 84-80, 3-pointers, the Clippers shot 16%. Suns shot 20%. Field goals, Suns 36%, Clippers 32%. It was a bad shooting night, but PG as a leader has to do better. Like CP3, this is what I like about him. He's a leader. But like I said, PG, I give him credit for being a much better player than we expected of him this year in the playoffs. By the way, we're on the final segment of today. So this would have been a very quick podcast if I did this on yesterday. Alright. So finally, Woj said the Sixers have discussed a Simmons trade. And like I said, he's a lot like Draymond Green. He passes a lot, plays great defense. He has value. I think he just has to get away from Embiid. I just don't think Embiid is the right number 2 for him. He's not the right guy to complement him. A Steph Curry would be a good guy to complement him because he can shoot. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen because the Sixers aren't going to agree to trade Ben Simmons for Ben Simmons.